chords, the note choices from those chords. Like I said earlier, the arpeggios, the triads, the seventh chords, the upper structure triads, the chord tones, harmonies, and also note movement, meaning what notes do you use to connect some of these notes to make it sound interesting? Are you going to go ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba? Are you going to go ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba? What are the connections? How do we find them? Great. Let's move on. First thing, a little call and response. So if you're ready to play, let's do it. Oh, great. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's really happening. Well, people who are ready, let's go. 1, 2, 1, 2, open A. Ready, go. Very good. Your turn. Love it, yes. Ready, go. And again. And. Very good. Now look at my bow and notice what my bow does at the very end of this note, okay? If I read quarter, eighth, eighth, and I was told to play it in a classical style, I might go. But we want less movement. We want a beautiful solid tone, and we want less vibrato. So look at what my bow does and how I stop the string to halt the resonance. All right, your turn. 1, 2, ready, go. Lovely, beautiful. I also noticed some folks were also using just the middle, staying in the same place of the bow as me. That's wonderful. We want to use shorter bows here, okay? Sorry, every teacher who says, you have to use the whole bow. Yes, you do, but here, it's okay to use less. I'm sorry. Ready, go. Wonderful. Here you go. D and. Ready, D. Gorgeous, and. So, let's look at this written out. Some rhythms we're just going to choose today and can pull from. This is the Charleston. It's the very first rhythm that I showed you. 1, 2, here it is. Run, 2, you try, go. Fantastic. And I love the folks who stop their bow on the string to hold that resonance. Wonderful. Using rests is a wonderful way to choose our rhythms. People think we have to play a lot all the time. No, that's boring. So let's put some space. 1, 2, me first. Ready, go. Very good. Listen. Go. Lovely. I'm loving this sound, this holding the string, stopping the resonance, giving the audience the silence to absorb the notes we have given them. Swing, don't worry about it right now. Don't worry about it right now. We're going to get there. It really comes from listening, okay? So, I'm going to give you the rhythm of this song, C Jam Blues in A. Just going to learn the rhythm first and then add some notes, okay? Try not to look at that, try to listen to me first. Okay, 1, 2, listen, and 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, try it, go. 2, 3, 4. And. Fabulous, Charleston, it's happening. Okay, now if we add a couple of notes, what do you notice about the following lines? It's the same. Beautiful. Here are the notes. It's the same thing. Can we play the whole thing? Let's play the whole thing. All right. 1, 2, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we rest to space is important. 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. Stop the resonant silence and 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. Now we're going to add some notes to that. See, simple as that. We play through. Here are the rhythms that we're going to use. We're really going to try to find the resonance in the space, okay? Charleston variations. You can take this, you can move it over different places. I've written out a worksheet so that people can play it starting in every single place in the measure. So you can really practice hearing that. The long and the short, making it bite, okay? Let's look at the So we're going to listen. 2 notes. This is all you need to learn for the melody for C Jam Blues. So we're going to play it in A. We're going to start on E. All right, listen first. 1, 2, ready, and. that back to me. 1, 2, start on E. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, and again, same thing, go. 4, ready, and Okay, nailed it, fantastic. I'm going to do it a little bit faster. Now, as I play, I'd like you to try to listen to the style with which I start playing these notes. I've been doing it more straight, now I'm going to try to show you a little bit more swing. Think of it as a long short, okay? It's not a triplet with like a tie, forget about that. If you've never heard of it, I'm sorry I put the idea in your brain, it doesn't exist. It will help if I start on the correct note, I'll do that next time. If you happen to notice that and you want to imitate it with the sound of your instrument, I welcome you to. If you want to stay like, I'm not going to try that yet, that's totally fine, okay? Here's what it looks like. Now, I'm going to switch a little bit into a different lens, how I would teach an orchestra this. Note names. Don't want to give you clefs, don't want it to be what alto based on my reading, I want it to be accessible for everyone. So this was my solution, EE. And even if you have some very young students who are not learning how to read, then they have the letters and the rhythm, and this is an entry point, okay? Great, so C jam, blues, and A. We already played it, I'm going to move on a little bit because I want to get to some really fun stuff, okay? This is the melody. Now you're going to notice these little letters above. What are those? They are the chords. We're going to go into chords and harmony next. Okay? Now the bass line. The bass plays the bass line. It's the harmonic foundation of the song. The blues bass line stays the same throughout all blues. Okay? We're going to look at this, the very, very basic one that I would do. Okay? And I'm also going to play a little backing track here for you so that we can see this. Okay? We got our C jam blues. So if you have a group, no matter what instrument you are, if you're a bass, if you're a cello, you're all going to play these notes, okay? So let's try to just play these notes that we hear. 1, 2, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And C natural or G. And to the wonderful. Now, I put this G here. You might think, why don't you just have them do A the whole time? This is more interesting. I think it's more fun because here's level 2, an entire measure of just those notes. Okay? I feel like this group might be able to handle level 3, which is where we're going to do a walking bass line. So I'm going to move us along. Okay? Okay. If it's hard to read, don't worry about it. We're just going to go through. We're going to see what we got. 1, 2, ready, and. This is an entry point, and this is where we're really going to focus on making the sound that we want to make with our bows, making sure that our notes are going to have a solid tone, Our vibrato is going to be minimal. We really want to have a solid tone, and we're going to connect our bows. So this is a very entry-level walking bass line, and anyone can learn this. You can have a violinist playing the bass line while the cello solos, or vice versa. Right. Before we move on, I'm going to pause. Questions? Anything you want to hear me say again? No, get right to the fun stuff. Good?
Did you have your students pitch the walking bass first?
Wonderful question, thank you. It would depend on what you would want to do with your own students. For me, I would want like upper strings to hear it. So if I'm like, I want you to hear it, I want you to hear it more, and I want you to hear and feel the resonance. But if plucking is a good entry point for your students, absolutely, let's pluck it. And especially for lower strings, basses and cellos. If in the combo role, they're going to be playing the bass and having the foundation, plucking very important. Also for tempo and groove and maintaining that steady rhythm. Okay? Thank you for that question. Anyone else? Great. I also talk a lot. So if you never want me to shut up and play more, like, let's have it. Wonderful. So, again, my solution to looking at chords and looking at notes and looking at a lot of dots. I have spelled out, here are the chords, the notes that make up an A7 chord, an A dominant chord. And if this is an introduction to chords, we have a triad, 3 notes, and a 7th chord, 4 notes, okay? And if I was doing this in a larger group, I might say, all right, basses and cellos, you are going to play the A here, the root. Whatever matches this chord symbol. Everyone else, pick one of these, or this whole section. You're going to play E, that whole section, you're going to play G natural, and we're going to hear it together. Let's do that in here. I will play the root. I'm going to ask this wonderful cellist, and anyone else who's a violin here, to play the root. And everyone else pick one of these notes, okay, and we'll play it. I'm going to put the backing track on, so that we can really try to hear it with the whole chords behind us, the whole group. Okay. Like this. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Harmony. Switch to the next line. So that everyone can hear, or hey, this group we're going to drop out and I want you to listen to everyone else. You know, do you hear any notes that maybe sound more interesting than others or something? You can have students jump around, be like, every measure, play a different one, or like hold on at the same thing. Or even notice, we have a lot of G natural, and we have like this G natural, and then it moves over to G sharp up here. Listen to that beautiful, interesting change. Do you notice any other notes that are like right next to each other that we can do? I'm going to ask this group right here. Look at these. Do you notice any notes that just need a small change to go from chord to chord, like a C sharp to a D, something like that? Don't be shy. Maybe like in measure 4, I noticed that there's a C sharp, and then in measure 5 there's a D. That's just a half step, for example. Measure 6 to 7 D. One more time, sorry.
Measure 6 to 7 D to E.
Beautiful, yes. D to E.
G sharp to G.
Yeah, beautiful. The G sharp to the G, and the G natural to the G sharp.
There's an E to an F sharp too. The first 4 measures you have an E and an F sharp.
Absolutely.
D chord.
Yes.
To the E.
Yeah, and that's still what I would consider just a step, right? You know? Sorry, sir, did you?
Oh, yeah, I was just wondering, is there a reason that you're spelling the chords backward on the bottom below the staff as opposed to the other direction?
Truthfully, I think it was because I wanted to think of like top down. I was thinking what's closest to what students are going to see and be looking at. So it was not a choice, but I love hearing that because I didn't even consider that. And then if I do it the other way, then it's like they're reading, kind of, you know, that's what I'm hearing from that. So no, but do you feel like that might be a consideration for enhancing the student experience?
Oh, I think that the reason you just described it really makes a lot of sense. I think if I were to adjust it, I might consider putting it above the staff, even though in jazz music normally we see the chords above the staff, just so that I could make it more similar to traditionally notated music.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm gonna do that next time. I'm gonna do that. It truthfully was, I am using a software, and this is how the software works, and I'm going to do it this way, but that is so valuable. I truthfully appreciate that. Yes. And again, these are available as a PDF that you're gonna take today. Like, I'm sorry I failed you and I didn't print things out. Like, I'm tired of using the phone. I really am. But I'm like, yeah, I just, it was my bad. I should have given you a handout. So I'm sorry to keep you to your phones even longer. But you can have these resources. They're in a downloadable folder. They're all for you today. Okay? Even the backing tracks, all going to be there.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You're doing the work out there. So, for students and for y'all, if you feel like this is great, this is a great entry point, but we're ready for more. We're going to introduce them to the blues scale. These are all notes that are available to them that sound pleasant with this particular chord. And again, these are starting points. This is an entry, okay? So this is the blues scale, A major scale with extra note. We have flat seventh, G natural, and then G sharp. I play first, and then you play through these. Round two, ready, go. Wonderful. And at this point in my lesson, here's what I would do. I would turn this off. I would be like, great, you're not looking at that anymore. Now listen. And you're going to focus on the sound my bow is making. You're going to focus on the sound my instrument is making. You're going to try to make that sound as close to my sound as possible. Because listening is really 50% of the key to entering a genre of music that you would like to imitate. So we're training the listening. We're training how you hear and match. Me first. Beautiful. And then I might ask questions, leading questions like, what did you notice about my bow? How much did my bow move? Did my bow come off the string or not? Did my bow come off the string? No, it didn't this way. Okay. How much bow did I use? Sean? Yes. Where was I in my bow? Anyone notice?
Closer to the frog than not.
Closer to the frog than not. What I want is a little bit of middle. We're going to do middle. There's a lot of fast work, fast bow work and left hand work in jazz. There's a lot of wrist and finger movement, okay? We don't need to project as much as we need to say a lot of beautiful things very quickly, okay? Last time, your turn. Fantastic, thank you. So we have the blues scale, and that is whenever we see an A7 chord. Here are all the beautiful notes that you can choose from. We also have it for the blues scale in the key of D. And also for the key of E, so much to play, okay? So, putting it together, I'll use for improvisation. But before we get to this, let's play just a little bit more. Let's do the D scale. And what I would do is, let's put it on top of where we're hearing these chords happen. So we have, this is, if you were just giving someone the chords and the changes, okay? A, it's going to be A, D here, and then A. So let's just play the first 4 bars with the backing track and play the blues scale over it and listen to what it sounds like. Okay. 1, 2, A, blues. And off. When A comes around again, play it again. Then we play the D. Notes are different. Remove it. Listen for where it lines up with the A and have your ear kind of match what you're going to hear. So when it comes around again, let's all try that again. When A7 happens, you play the A blues. 2, 1, 2, ready, go. Try starting on upper A going down this time. Off is we're at the E. Try up to down. Off, great. What this also does is we're showing our students that you have to know where you are in your song. We are following, we are reading. No? We are reading not just the notes that we see and counting, but we're learning to put our eyes above to look at the chord changes. Where does that happen? Pay attention. That means something different. You're going to have different notes. So it's another dimension of reading music. Okay. We're going to put a lot of these things together. So we looked at a lot. We looked at rhythms. We've looked at the melody of a song. We've looked at some notes and note choices you can use for improvisation. Putting it together, you take a little bit from each column. Let's take a rhythm that we like. It can be short, it can be sweet, it can be a quarter note, it can be 8th notes. It doesn't have to be an entire 4 measures of nonstop. In fact, it shouldn't. Here's the thing. Do we have to breathe to play this? No. Right? I mean, I know it's obvious, but like, do we have to breathe to play this?
We should.
Let me back up.
You can breathe to stay alive.
You don't have to breathe to stay alive. Let me put it in a different perspective. You're playing the saxophone. Can you just like do and then like air doesn't have to go in it? No. So your breath is not connected to your instrument in the same way that other instruments are. And in my experience, that put me at a disadvantage from other jazz musicians because they had to stop breathing to take a breath to make more notes. So the concept of space was already ingrained in how they made music on their instrument. We can go all day. And you know, if you're a fiddler, you do go all day. Yes, fiddle. You can go all day, you can go all night. You don't have to stop your sound. And that can be tough in jazz because we have to put space in. We have to put rests. We have to let the audience take in what we're saying. And we also have to learn to take it in ourselves. So that's why I really always start with rhythms, with rests, and with space. Okay? So you can always add more. Okay? So we've talked about the Charleston, which is that dotted quarter eighth. You can move it around. We want to try to put rests in as space. You can use the notes in the melody. What are they? remember the melody, let's go back. The C jam blues melody, how many notes are in it? Two. So, no, it's okay. I was very vague with my question. So, if there's another song that has a lot of notes, like How High the Moon, all of those notes can be starting points for your solo. Can be starting points for, we have E, A, B, C sharp. Or I can start with those, I can start with other notes that lead into them. Don't feel like you have to know an entire scale lexicon in 12 keys. You can start with just E and A. Okay? There are harmonies, we looked at notes that are in the chords. And also notes that are like right next to each other when the chord moves, right? There is an E to F sharp and an F sharp to E. When the chord moves, you can move that note. It's little, but it makes a difference and it's gonna make more sense. I will show you. A little bit slower, so we can really take it all in. Thanks for your patience. When we get back to the beginning of the song, raise your hand. Yes! Measure 2. C natural 6. That was just like a lot, but that's how it can grow. Steps. You don't have to do a lot of jumps, okay? Now, what I would do with the group, we talked about how we can put it together, and we would pull it together. I'm gonna play some things, you're gonna play back, and then we're going to have some groups get together and play some things, okay? If I'm in a big orchestra, I might ask for a couple of volunteers. Like, who wants to come up and try it, or just try it in their seat? You wanna try to improvise, play a melody? First, we're going to plug and play. Listen to what I do and then try to play it back at me, okay? Regular speed. Me first and go. Good. Your turn. Yes. Ready and. Yeah. And. Yeah. Okay. And. Beautiful. Great. Here's what I heard. A couple of folks caught the syncopation that I did. Excuse me, the anticipation. Right at the end of the previous bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. I heard some folks hear that. Fantastic. It was very close. It was hard to hear. Anticipations coming in on the ands. That is also something very indicative of like the syncopated swing feel of jazz. So, once again, if we're not trying to swing, if you feel like, I can't get the swing, I can't get the accent yet, that's fine. There are plenty of jazz artists who don't always swing when they take a solo, but the rhythm is in the pocket, it is very tight, and the tone that they play with imitates that feel. So you can play straight, and still have a wonderful, beautiful, tight rhythm. And part of that is playing on the and a lot, okay? One last thing I'd like you to try to play after me, and then, if anybody wants to, and then I'd like to try to do back and forth with just a couple of those, or if someone would like to, if you want to pair up, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to pair up and find another person if you want to explore this a little bit on your own. Okay, last thing, do a little bit, no, forget, we're going to do this piece. Wait for it to come back around. Ready? That's the A again. Still left hand. Beautiful tone. 3, 4. Listening and responding on the eighth notes, all the anticipations, great. We saw a lot of people also trying to do the exact same bowing I was doing. Thank you for that. Down on the beat, up off the beat. This is not a rule, but it is a guideline that I use when I start playing with students, okay? Something like this. We can get a very comfortable feel with our shuffle, our long, short, okay? So, I've talked a lot. We've played a lot. I'd like to try to play with some other folks. What I would love is if we could get a group of people who wants to play the bass line, who wants to try to play some chord tones and harmony, and if anyone wants to play the melody, we can. But first, we're all going to play the melody of C Jam Blues. Let's go all the way back. C Jam Blues in A. On the backing track. Steady, steady. 1, 2, 3. That's the Charleston rhythm. It's in the song. There we go. Yeah. Very good. Try to do the long short with me. Yeah. One more time. Look at each other. Go look at the page. note that you think sounds interesting, and you're going to play it for a dime half note. You want space at the end, so not just hold it the whole time. For example, last two bars might be ready and go. Yeah. Good. We want no vibrato. We want beautiful solid tone. Yeah. Good. Gentle attack on your down bow. Gentle attack. You're doing great. Play more. Good. Yes, switch. Good. Notice if you need to have it adapt. Great. Okay, we're gonna pause. That's the end of the track. Great. Now we're going to try a little improvisation. That's the last thing. Does anyone want to do some trading with me? Which is where we each, like I will play 2 measures and you will play 2 measures. Now if you're doing this with a group of students, you might give them a break, you might give them something else to focus on. For students who are like, I'm still with it, I'm like, okay, great. You're gonna follow along in the song. You're going to know where we are every moment, like when the chords change. And I also want you to think about, if you're a bassist, or you're holding down the root, what is the root you're playing? And once you've memorized that and think that you can play it without music, find the third of the chord. What's the third? Here it is C sharp. Here it is F sharp. Here it is G sharp. When you play the third of that in your head while you follow along, how many things do you think you can juggle while still being a part of the group and hearing where we all are? You're balancing your I role with the we, everyone playing together. Okay. Can we do a little faster? Okay. You don't have to play a lot of stuff. Just a minute. That was an error. I should have done that. I'm going to keep it at the same speed. Why would I change it? That's silly. Okay. These are some elements that you can use to put this stuff together. Okay. Here are the changes, okay? And some resources for you to try at home, okay? Once again, sorry we're all succumbed to the phones of the digital age, but if you look at this QR code, it will take you to a Google Drive folder that has PDFs with all of the pictures and the slides you saw. It also has a PDF of this actual presentation with links that work, including resources. It has the backing tracks to 2 songs, and it also has sheet music and a score for 2 songs and rhythm resources for every clef, okay? So that's how you can find that stuff. I'll leave that up here. If you want this whole thing that happened here right now to happen again in an educational scenario, you can host a Dario clinic. You can host a clinic, bring me to you. It's free. Dario pays me to do this stuff for you. It's super great. And here is the survey for that. They pay me to do this stuff because I talk a little bit about what we have that can help you sound really good at this stuff. So here are 3 types of strings that Dario brings to their jazz artists. We have Kaplan's for violin. This is a medium tension. It's like our highest performing level tuner string. It has great versatility. It has this huge range of color. It's beautiful. It also has a string, a synthetic core that is very strong and taut. So you get a lot of resistance. You get good bow response, immediate bow response. And for me, it feels really good under my fingers. Zyx, it's synthetic. It's the same stuff they put in tennis rackets. It's very stretchy and stringy. A lot of our jazz artists really like to use this. Bassists have found a really, really great feel with this. Excellent for pizzicato. Even better for pizzicato for jazz bassists is the helicore. Okay, we make one that is specific for pizzicato, like helicore pizzicato bass. Our synthetic Zyx tries to replicate the feel and sound of gut. So it tries to be, soft, really, really colorful, gorgeous and resonant. Something for pizzicato to make the whole thing ring really beautifully. Okay. Things that I've also found can work in a lot of group play settings, rosins and tuners. So we have this rosin, it's beautiful, it's a rosin guard. You can throw it on a stone floor and the rosin won't break. I've done it myself 15 times, it's great. I don't know what to do. Yes, and there's a magnet on the back, it's great. You put it on your music stand, you put it on your whiteboard, it's great. This tuner, you can hide it if it gets out of the way. There's a new tuner coming. I usually don't go on about the products because I don't want to be too sales pitchy, but they are coming out with a new tuner that can attach and the head will turn down and it can be very discreet. And I play in a jazz swing band, okay? I have a direct input, I plug into an amplifier. And so if I need to tune, everybody will hear me, but I'm able to mute it and I'm able to chest it with a visual. I want to use my ears. I want to use my ears all the time and not rely on a machine. But for playing in settings where other instruments are louder than you, this is very, very helpful. And it's super cheap, very affordable, and it works. It's not cheap like a piece of junk.
Those tuners saved me in COVID, during COVID. We bought a set for the whole classrooms. I think every kid had one. They saved me because they didn't want us touching them or, we had masks, it was crazy. So they just learned to do it with that, and that was so good.
I'm really glad that they were able to help you, truly. That's wonderful. It sounds like it was a resource that really helped in a time of need. I'm glad for that. That's awesome. Yeah, I've never had to do that, not interact with so many students. This is my email, sue.buzzard@thedario.com. It's a lot of words, a lot of letters, but if you scan this code and say, I would like a clinic, and fill it out, you pick me, and then we will be in touch, we'll be in contact. If you also just want to give me your information for other resources and things that I do and that I teach, you can, and I welcome that. This is also filling out a clinic. And again, if you want the resources QR code, it's right here. It's the one on the left for Keep It Going. And there's free stuff. You can take this free stuff. You're like, hey, that rosin, I would like some. Here it is, it's free. Thanks. I'll still be here. Thank you very much. Thank you.